This episode is dedicated to the memory of Richard Wilson Sr., who passed away tragically earlier this week. We want to give our thoughts and condolences to our man left and hope that he prays and keeps his head high. Here's the episode.
I got a lot of fucking controversial shit, especially when it comes to women.
Hey, look, can y'all believe we on episode 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Time fucking fly when you think about the shit. Like, yo, episode 12, bro. That's nuts.
We've been doing this for how long now?
If we don't count December, I want to say that makes it 3 months. This makes 3 months now. Because it started October, right around
the beginning of the season.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 months, man. You know, consistency kills, man. That's the key. That's the key, man. So not a lot of topics to talk about outside of, you know, a lot of football related and some minor NBA stuff. Obviously, you know, the biggest thing was the Super Bowl was Sunday, and Tom Brady got ring number 7 and became the second quarterback to get a ring as a starting quarterback for 2 different teams, followed wing behind Peyton Manning, who Left is very proud of as he has made the Hall of Fame. So, you know, big shout out to Peyton Manning. I definitely see him going in as a Colt and only a Colt. I can't see him going in as a Bronco. It wouldn't make sense.
I mean, they gotta acknowledge the Bronco thing, but he definitely has to go in the Hall of Fame as a Colt.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a question. Not even a question. Has to go in as a Colt, man. Way too much time been put in there. Took him to 2 Super Bowls. He pretty much turned that organization around, and like many other analysts say, like, he is the reason the quarterback position was revolutionized as it is today for most pocket passers. I do agree with that.
I mean, I agree with it. He definitely set a bar as far as accolades go. And granted, he doesn't have the same polished career as Tom, but the things he accomplished with that franchise, especially where we was coming from with having Jim Harbaugh, having Marshall Faulk, and the history that we have that we didn't really win anything, to bring that winning culture and to have one of the, if I'm not mistaken, at that time, he was the first black coach to win a Super Bowl, and Tony Dungy.
Yeah, that is correct.
So, you know, he's paved the way for a lot of coaches today. Bruce Arians, Tim Caldwell. At a point, it was rough. It was rough for a couple of years, but I'm happy to have a ring in my era, and I'm happy to see my quarterback in the Hall of Fame, the quarterback I grew up with, make the Hall of Fame. So it was a dope experience.
G, any thoughts on Peyton Manning?
You know, being that big of a fan, but I definitely respect Peyton Manning, one of the all-time greats. Big ups on that Hall of Fame. Definitely first ballot, if you ask me. I got mad respect for dude because he revolutionized the game for signal callers, for real. So, I mean, ultimately, big ups to him. He ain't better than Brady, though.
Yeah, no, Brady has eclipsed him by far. Not even a question at this point, obviously.
Okay, well, why do you say he's not better than Brady?
Because Brady's a winning quarterback. Brady's a winning. No, Brady finds out how to win. He may not be a better signal caller than Peyton Manning, but he knows how to win games. He threw for 203 TDs, bro. In the Super Bowl game, opposition didn't even throw for 1, you know, when his opposition is the more talented player. Brady's old as hell, you know. He just proves that every year that he got more in the tank, bro. He's the GOAT. He's going to keep winning as long as he's in the league.
I mean, you know? I understand that, but
that off his resume. So what more can he do?
I mean, if you go on, like I said, if you go about accolades, yes, he's a more polished quarterback, but is he a better quarterback than Peyton Manning? I don't think so.
I mean, okay, so if we're gonna divide a line here, the better quarterback, as far as, like, you know, playing the position, Peyton Manning. But when you look at the better leadership, the better accolades, the better all-time great, it's Tom Brady. It's not even remotely close. But that's why I mentioned, I think Peyton Manning had revolutionized it. Like put it like this, even though he came in only 2 years after, Peyton Manning walked so Tom Brady could keep walking for him. Let's put it that way. That's how I see it, though. Just me.
And for example, it's a good example is like LeBron and MJ. Like I like to use that example. Or even better example is in today's game, you can have like Allen Iverson versus Kyrie Irving type. So Allen Iverson's the better player, but Kyrie Irving is more skilled.
Mm-hmm.
But Allen Iverson's the better overall player, bigger heart, better. Like Kyrie Irving's more skilled, but AI got the heart. He got the scoring and the pressure. Not to say Kyrie can't, but he just got a lot of things over Reed that isn't skill involved. Just like Brady and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning got the lieutenant style of play on the field, good signal calling and everything, but Brady got the winning mentality, man. He got the mentality. He know how to win. He know what it takes to win. It's not always about putting up the big numbers. It's not always about calling audibles. He knows what to do to win. He switches it up when necessary.
I mean, when you look at it, when you compare the two, and this is just from my perspective, for at least 12 years, 13 years, Peyton Manning did it on his own. Peyton Manning never had a defense. Even when we won a Super Bowl, our defense was ranked 28th. So a lot of Tom's success I put on not solely, but considerably on the defense. So with him having a top 10 defense for damn near 20 years of his career, 21, like I'm not taking away from Brady's leadership, but I feel like Peyton Manning has had the same leadership. I don't take away from his way to win because Peyton Manning at least no less than 10 wins after his rookie year. He played the number one defense in the Super Bowl twice, then played the number one offense in the NFL twice. So he's 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. So yeah, Tom, like I said, on paper, Tom is the better quarterback because of all the accolades he accomplished, the longevity. But as far as if you want to break down part for part, who's the better quarterback, I still give it to Peyton.
Hey, nobody's arguing who's the better quarterback. I'm saying who's the greater quarterback, who's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's kind of.
We already established that Peyton Manning is. Well, you could argue that Peyton Manning is a better quarterback. It's just
That's
like
why
saying
I
who's
said
the
it
better
that
quarterback
way.
between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers. But guess what?
Who's greater? I think better and greater are two separate conversations.
Greater,
just like an argument that happened with the DPOY, just bringing up some of the awards, not all of them. Before I bring the DPOY thing up, we get distracted. Shout out to everybody that actually made the Hall of Fame this year. Alan Faneca, former guard out of Louisiana State, played for the Steelers, Jets, and Cardinals. Calvin Johnson, who was now considered a Detroit Lions legend. Definitely shocked he got in first year. Not gonna lie, I knew he would get in, but first years, it's arguable. Peyton Manning, as we mentioned, Colts and Broncos quarterback. Bill Nunn, an assistant director of play personnel for the Pittsburgh Steelers for over 40 years. Drew Pearson of the Dallas Cowboys era of the 70s and early 80s. Took him forever to get in. He should have been in. And then one of my favorite players of all time, who is synonymous with Peyton Manning because they went in the same draft class, Charles Woodson. I think it's really crazy too, speaking about like better and greater. Like Charles Woodson doesn't really get a lot of credit for being one of the better defensive cornerbacks in the league for a very long time. I don't understand why, but
no, he's number one on me. It's not Dion for me. It's Charles Woodson.
Same. And the fact that he doesn't get that same mention in the name with Dion like he should is kind of crazy. But to each his own. I'm not going to argue that today.
And Woodson got when he was older, he was still balling. Like he was still dominating when he got older, and had to go to safety. So
they give Primetime the credit because of his impact on the game and the fact that he went from one team to win a Super Bowl
He was like a
and go to another
superstar
team
off
and
the.
directly win another Super Bowl right after that.
I mean, those teams was already stacked though. So I mean, like,
Yeah,
how much
absolutely.
of
But
how much of that is really on, so it's kind of like the Brady thing we talked about last week. It's different if Brady led the Jets to the Super Bowl compared to an already good Bucs defense who had a bad offense due to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So Deion is my number 2, but I can't put him number 1 because I think Charles Woodson was overall more consistent and better. That's just me though, so. But I'm
ain't mad at
that
it. You
Hall
can
of Fame
argue
class.
it though. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
I Charles Woodson was just better than me. He made tough ass plays, man.
I mean, I feel like he's probably better to me and you because he's our era kind of corner.
Yeah.
Deion kind of came back at the tail end for our era of cornerback, and Left probably saw both. So, Left will have a better overall view of either or,
I mean, either way, they're still able to watch old games of him. I've watched old games of him, and just his versatility, especially what he was able to do on offense, even in Dallas, like that's why they give him so much revere as far as being one of the best cornerbacks, because he was the one that could be on any point of the field. Like
Yeah,
either
true.
he was running blitzes, he was running jet screens, he was running routes. Like Deion did so much.
Deion was kind of like Slash before Slash happened, in a sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you could argue. People might want to argue that. I don't know why you would argue, but it's just the truth.
He's like what Richard Sherman could have been had they utilized him in that aspect, as far as him being a receiver, turning into a corner, and knowing both sides of the ball. And truthfully, I wish they would have used that knowledge and having him like sometimes out on the offense.
Yeah, Seattle could have definitely used it. Stanford did use it until he tore his ACL, which is why he switched the corner. So
yeah,
I agree with you. I agree there. But to the point we were mentioning, I think we were talking, the DPOY. So Aaron Donald won his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year, and Twitter, the sports world, any social media platform was kind of in uproar, and I'm one of those people in uproar because if I'm looking at it, and when it looks for of the year awards, we're specifically talking about that year. I'm not discrediting Aaron Donald whatsoever. I love Aaron Donald. He's the best defensive player in today's game. Like, that's not an argument, in my opinion. But when we look at this year, who was the defensive player of the year, I think TJ Watt had the edge this year. And they say he got robbed last year. I mean, you can argue, but I think this year it was easily TJ Watt. And for it to them to have not voted TJ Watt, I mean, I'm just kind of questioning the voters a little bit. I mean, I get that AD's impact. He gets double team, triple team almost every play. I get that. But so does TJ. So, like, why does TJ not get that same respect Aaron Donald does? Is it because he plays inside?
Because Aaron Donald
he stands up. Like, I mean, they both play all across the field in their respective position. So I don't know, man. I think TJ Watt should have got this year, and it would have been better overall because it would have showed like a less of a bias, I guess. But who knows?
Is the Pro Bowl fan voting or league voting?
I don't know about the Pro Bowl. I think Pro Bowl is all fan voting, but as far as like
the Player
awards,
of the Year, my bad.
I think that's all like media analyst votes. Like there's a certain vote limit. So like MVP or things like that are like a certain number of people. I believe Aaron Donald had like 27 votes for first place, and then TJ had 20. I believe I saw that on Twitter. So it was not like it wasn't far off, but
I mean, I feel like most of the time these player awards be how you want to say it.
Yeah,
it's definitely biased votes.
Who's voting?
I think it's media. Know. I think it's media analysts and like sports writers that vote. Kind of similar like
the definitely biased in that
so
case.
I mean, it's like I say. I mean, like of course there's stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet or on film. But I mean, when we look at the film, TJ Watt was triple teamed by the Browns. Not JJ Watt, I'm sorry. Aaron Donald gets triple teamed all the time by the Seahawks. But the Seahawks have no O-line. So that's one team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think TJ had the better year. It doesn't mean he's a better player. So,
but that's what people like. No one's saying he's a better player. It's called Defensive Player of the Year, not best player in the league.
And
It's
that's how
called
people are taking it. And that's where my confusion is. A lot of people are taking it like Aaron Donald is better, bro. Okay, nobody's saying TJ Watt is better than him. That's not the argument.
This is the conversation that we have with the MVP. MVP should just be a quarterback award because it's not necessarily always the quarterback that was the best player in the league. Now, I understand with wide receivers, you can't necessarily give wide receivers MVP because they're reliant solely on the quarterback. But when you have these running backs, when you give that ball to them 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and they're making 90-yard runs, and that's on them. That's nothing to do with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Once that ball is in their pocket, it's all on them. That's why I gave so much credit to Derrick Henry and I gave so much credit to Alvin Kamara. Because those two guys, without them two guys, Saints would have never made the playoffs without Alvin Kamara.
Bruh.
And the Titans would be a 2-14 team without Derrick Henry.
And that was the argument a lot of people made too on the other side of the ball that, what was the point of Derrick Henry getting OPOY if he wasn't going to get MVP, which I do agree, but they obviously, when you look at it, they always say like, okay, MVP is that award where if you took this player off the team, what this team do is good. You can argue that for both Derrick Henry and Aaron Rodgers. Why people were not arguing it for Derrick Henry is confusing as shit.
The reason why I don't argue it for now, absolutely, is there are quarterbacks when you take them off the team, they're 0-16. We've seen it with the Colts. We've seen it with a couple of teams. Right. My thing is when you have a team that has a subpar defense or a defense that's inconsistent to a point where you have to be the quarterback to throw 400 yards and 4 touchdowns a game, I mean, it shows me that you have the ability to do it, but does that make you the best player in the league because you had to do it because of the fact that your defense don't show up versus a guy who literally has nothing else but him carrying the long haul of this game and he doesn't even get a sniff of MVP? Because without Derrick Henry, the play action doesn't work. AJ Brown doesn't get the numbers he gets. Ryan Tannehill doesn't look as good as he does. Without Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees' season looks a lot worse than it did. Taysom Hill doesn't get the credit that he gets because he would be the only running back. Michael Thomas is not getting the touches he gets because of the threat of Alvin Kamara. So these guys hold way more value than a lot of people give them. And the fact that they don't really get consideration in MVP, just change it. Just say the best quarterback in the league award and leave the OPOY for the rest of the players.
I think the NFL needs to make that change, kind of like college football does, where you have position awards every year. It's just, it'll be better in the long run, and it will create less friction between players and media and analysts and all that stuff.
Yeah, like you got the Heisman. But imagine the Heisman was a quarterback every year. No one would care about it. But the fact that everyone is eligible to win that Heisman, that's what entices Devontae Smith and Adrian Peterson, guys like that want to get a Heisman outside of the quarterback position. Now, my thing that I don't like is a lot of these guys sometimes get contracts, which I hope that they're really watching this and they don't agree to it, where you know how you get an incentive for being MVP. But if you're not a quarterback, how logical?
Why does that incentive make sense for you?
Yeah. How do you even attain that if you got to worry about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys, Russell Wilson, having an opportunity to get MVP before you even get a vote?
If it was incentives for me based on position, I would just do it based on, like, of course, yardage and things like that. And there are obviously contracts like that, or based on the number of games you play. So, I believe we talked about it on the pod before we took that big break. Russell Wilson got David Moore some money because his incentive was if he had a certain number of catches in the season or a certain yardage, he got like a $150K bonus. So, that was really cool for Russell Wilson, even though he isn't protected well. He's complaining now, saying he wants more personnel decision or to voice his opinion to the team that he got one of his receivers more money to feed his family. So, I do think you are correct on that. There's no point in anybody ever seeing, an incentive in their contract unless you're a quarterback. Hey, MVP, get it, you get a $50K bonus. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, then these prices be high. It'd be like $7 million for MVP. Like, of course, a guy want to make $7 million extra just for being MVP, and then put up the numbers to be MVP and don't even get a sniff of it.
Yeah, it's weird to me. And then something else.
Incentive thing anyway, because it relies too much on the quarterback. Like it's not like basketball. One person can do everything. In football, if the quarterback is garbage, then you're probably not going to hit your incentive as a receiver or halfback or something. I never liked the incentives.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with like the Jets. Sam Darnold's not a horrible quarterback. I ain't gonna say he's not bad. He's bad this year. He's not horrible, but there's no way a Jets wide receiver could sit here and try to get to an incentive because Sam Darnold doesn't throw the ball. You know what I mean? So there's just like, if you want to go to the Jets, you got to be smart about your incentives. Like, okay, play 16 games, get 40 catches, you get a 100K bonus or some shit like that. I would do smaller shit.
Something that's reasonable, because goddamn.
Like no matter how great you are, you know what I'm saying? Like it has to be reasonable with the quarterback you're playing with. So
I mean, yeah. But that also swings free agency a lot too. Because it's like, I know if I can hit, because the standard incentives, 1,000-yard season, 100 catches, 10 touchdowns, start off 16 games. Like, you look at it like, okay, who can I attain that the easiest with? So you'll go to a place like Buccaneers when they had Jameis. He's throwing 35 touchdowns and 30 picks. I'm guaranteeing you everybody hit the incentive. They ain't win that year or they didn't make the playoffs, but I'm sure every last one of those receivers made their incentive that year.
Definitely did.
And got their payout. Versus you go to a guy like, let's say, Tennessee, where it's so run heavy. Do you really want to be there as a wide receiver and get those incentives and make that extra money when it's run 3
Derrick
downs
Henry
past
a bust?
Yeah. So it's like, it does play a role in you wondering, especially even being traded. When you got that trade clause in your, not the trade clause, when you have that incentive in your contract, you get traded to a team where you got a quarterback like Sam Darnold.
But your contract, when you get traded and stuff, your contract, they probably negotiate those terms though. Not the whole contract, but incentives probably get altered.
In some cases, when you're the high profile player. So I don't think these mid-level pack players are getting that option on incentives. A lot of times that's what coaches and GMs see when they see that trade. Like, oh no, I take it because he ain't gonna make that anyway. So yeah, I take it. I don't got to kick out that extra money.
I mean, the same thing can be said too, and this is kind of leading into the offseason thing we were going to talk about with the NFL. Speaking on the Jets and wide receivers and things like that, it's now coming out with a lot of news about free agency and who's available, what teams are being targeted in that nature. First off, Russell Wilson did complain. He does want to see Seattle bring some more offensive linemen in, but they kind of have the Rams problem where they trade their first round picks, or when they're picking, they're just picking to pick. They're not picking people based on need or fit. They're just picking because, okay, here's an old lineman. He might turn out well. Let's see what happens. They did that with Germany Fetty, and I think another first-round talent. And then they sent the Texans a first-round pick for Dwayne Brown a couple of years ago, and that didn't work out. So, Seattle.
Didn't they just send one for Dunlap?
I think they sent like a second or a third. So I forgot all about that, to be honest. So we just mentioned it now. So
Dunlap
yeah, like
and Jamal Adams.
Yeah, they sent one to the Jets for Jamal Adams, who now two first-round picks. So it's like Seattle doesn't invest. But then, you got, speaking on Jets, Juju Smith-Schuster and Will Fuller are apparently their targets in free agency. We've heard Allen Robinson being linked to them due to Deshaun Watson. But apparently Juju and Will Fuller are their number 1 and 2 picks for them to go after come next month when free agency does open up.
I mean, they get a couple weapons and a competent quarterback. They'll be fine. Not fine, but, they'll be moving in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, that keeps them out of the sub-4 win range. That don't make no splash for them.
Trending in the right direction.
That don't make no splash. That's not really a super big impact.
I think the Jets...
Like, if they were smart, the Jets could go after Odell. And it's weird because...
They have the money to hold him, so you're right.
They have the money to get him. He's shined his brightest in New York. It's the same stadium, so he knows the field.
And it would be the best because he'd be the focal point of the offense.
He would be the number 1.
And
He's
it would
not a
give
number one.
Okay, so with that, to sidebar real quick, what would you give up for Odell though? Like, what would the Jets give up?
While he's young, I wouldn't have a problem giving up my first round picks because you haven't been hitting on him anyway. So I wouldn't. You already know you're gonna have to give up a first, maybe one, because Odell's still fairly young, like 26. So you would have to give up a first.
I wouldn't give up pick
4
2.
years.
I wouldn't give up
4 to 5
this
years.
year's first.
Well, they have
next
2
year's first.
So they have pick number 2 and pick number, I think, like 23 or something like that. I would
They
definitely
can have the 23 pick.
Yeah,
they can have the 23 pick.
Because pick
no,
2,
not number 2. That's too high.
Pick 2,
yeah, no.
I would draft either Rashawn Slater or I'm drafting Penny Sewell if I'm the Jets. I'm just gonna put my faith in Darnold.
If you're gonna stick with Sam Darnold,
you might as well.
Then yes.
There's no point in wasting another stock on a quarterback. Okay, so y'all just be real, right? Do you obviously I don't think they were stupid for it, but you could kind of think they were. Were the Cardinals stupid to waste that pick on Josh Rosen, then turn around and pick Kyler Murray back-to-back years? Obviously, like most people are gonna say no, right?
I don't think they were stupid. I think they were stupid because they gave up on Josh Rosen so fast.
Right, but that was my point.
But they weren't stupid for drafting Kyler Murray. That's like a double-ended question.
Yeah, because you're in that position and that comes up, you cannot strike on that deal.
Yeah, that's my piece. Right?
I wouldn't have shipped out Rosen so quickly. I would have given him a shot.
Yeah, not for nothing at that. Like, I would have sent him out.
Gave him a shot, but they shipped him out.
Yeah, competition makes people better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely would have gave him a chance. But my thing for that is like, we talk about the NBA and NFL, how they give up on people so fast and things of that nature. We mentioned the Dennis Smith thing. I think he's got traded from New York and Dallas now. I just think that the Jets don't make – I mean, this is a good quarterback class. That's why you keep seeing people say Justin Fields is going to get drafted like second or third as a quarterback. Sunshine is going first. Like Trevor Lawrence number 1 is like a foregone conclusion. But it's the fact of, okay, is Justin Fields going at 2? Is Zach Wilson going at 2? Like, are they just going to get a new regime? Like Joe Douglas, I just think keeping Sam Darnold and protecting Sam Darnold makes the most sense.
I like
protecting your quarterback. Like you drafted Mekhi Becton last year, so you have one tackle. You just need the other tackle, and then you can fill in the gaps however you want. You got money.
Yeah. Or not even that. Or get a guard on the same side, so you completely cover his blind side. So, because you want a younger guard rather than a younger tackle. Like, you want the left side of him, because he's right-handed. You want the left side to be completely covered for years to come.
Correct.
You want to keep filling in that gap over and over again. So, I would get a guard. A good guard. Like
it's hard to pass up on Snell. There's two.
There's two premium tackles in this draft, bro. There's Penny Sewell from Oregon and Rashawn Slater. I don't even know what school he goes to. I don't want to lie. So,
for draft purposes, I mean, you take him at number 2. You take the tackle because you're not going to get better than that.
Yeah. I mean, you can always rotate and try some guys out and see how he feels at guard. And if it don't pan out, you can pick up an old free agent guard, put him in that spot. You got money. If you're going to stick with Sam Darnold and you plan on trying to get Odell, you can get Odell and you can still get Juju and Will Fuller. I have a nice receiving core running with Sam Darnold. You drafted a tackle. You probably drafted another lineman. And then you picked up some pieces on defense later on in the draft, along with all the little guys you can get for cheap. And you start building a roster. And I think they can be in the right direction. But I feel like once they trade for Deshaun Watson, I think that changes everything.
Yeah, because if they trade for Watson, it has to be pick 2, pick 23, and all of that. And Rashawn Slater is from Northwestern, so forgive me for not knowing on top of my head.
And then the hard part is knowing that you got that man's contract goes up the following year. So it's like you got to be mindful of who you get this year and throw you over the cap next year. Because Deshaun is 10 right now, but he jumps up to 30-something the following year.
Yeah, he definitely does. And
so if you're gonna sign people, that's on win now mode type thing.
You know, and I think the Jets are in a very good position too, speaking on it, because, you know, this mock draft right here, NFL.com's latest 3-round mock draft, pick number 2 would be traded to Carolina, and Carolina would pick up Zach Wilson from BYU, and the Jets would trade all the way down to pick 8 and take Jamar Chase so they could get a weapon for Sam Darnold. Now, that's a cool option too, because then you have Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, and Jamar Chase, who did not play last year for LSU. He opted out due to COVID. And then another highlight of this mock draft, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but pick 23 is what the Jets have the second pick for. And they're slated to pick Najee Harris from Alabama.
Yeah, I saw that.
I personally love that pick for the Jets. I think getting Sam Darnold a running back will help him tremendously. Like, just give him a running back and he'll be fine. You know, like, Frank Gore is cool. I love Frank Gore, Miami Hurricane, legendary running back. To me, like, one of the best running backs to do it. You know, but
good years.
Yeah, but you need somebody to hold it down. You need somebody to be able to take the game out of Sam Darnold's hands, and Najee Harris would do that. He would be
Sam
that
Darnold,
Saquon Barkley for the Jets, like he do this for the Giants.
He survived. He didn't survive. He strived off of play action in college. So if you get somebody, see the thing about that's what I said about Ito Smith. Like, I like him, but it's like he doesn't have a name. Like, Najee Harris has put up such a resume that when he gets to the league, yeah, he's a rookie, but they gotta watch him. See, Ito Smith is this.
Yeah,
I'm not killing him because he's a competent back and he deserves the shot that he's getting. But it's just like I'm still trying to understand the Arthur Smith signing because of it. So it's like if you was drafting Najee Harris, then I can say, you know what, that might absolutely work.
Well, here's the beauty in what you're saying about our running back situation in Atlanta. From this same mock draft, ironically, in the second round, because it's a 3-round mock draft, we also hold pick number 35, which is in the second round. They actually have us slated to take a running back, Travis Etienne from Clemson. I'm a huge fan of that because Travis Etienne is very good. I think Travis Etienne, for what he did at Clemson, even with Trevor Lawrence being there, like, he definitely did a lot for that team and helped it balance out. I think he would bring a balance to Atlanta. He should have. He would have been a top back last year. He would have been a first-round pick guaranteed last year. But I do think that him going to Atlanta would be a line of best fit, especially if he is a day 2 pick. So I'm all for it, of course, because I think it helps Atlanta to establish a running game at a very small cost, because you can't go out and sign a free agent running back. You don't have any cap room. You don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have a chance of really signing somebody big name that'll help. So I think
that move will validate that coach signing for me.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. And you know, another thing, and I know this is gonna make G say some words that are gonna be crazy as hell. First round, they have the Eagles taking Patrick Surtain 2 from Alabama, which I love that pick for them because they need somebody outside of Darius Slay. And then in the second round, they have them taking a receiver with pick 37, which is Terrace Marshall from LSU, who has entered the draft. So
he's decent. He's decent.
Yeah, he's not.
He's a short yardage. He's a possession.
Yeah, but he's what we need. Our offense next year isn't going to be too complex with or without Carson Wentz. We just need.
That's what I'm saying. He's a good possession receiver.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we need. And I love that defensive back in the first round. I just want us to get it right with the defensive back, man. We get it right, we don't have to keep taking them so early.
I mean, I'm hoping. I think Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, they are 1A and 1B for me. Yeah, I don't think you go wrong with either pick. I don't think you go wrong with either one.
People say Farley is overrated though.
Yeah, they're gonna say that because he didn't play this season, and I guess when you play for a school that is not like a top school and you don't get like shown as much, of course you're gonna get the overrated tag, you know. But He's the fastest corner in the draft. He took a year out to not play for Virginia Tech because he wasn't going to do anything for him. You know, so I would put Surtain over him if I'm picking somebody that I know for sure can prove to me they did work in the last year. Farley didn't play. He's kind of unproven in a sense, kind of like what was that corner that y'all drafted on the Eagles? Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones was going to be a first-round pick a couple years ago. And then he tore his Achilles. Never looked the same coming out of Washington, bro.
I know,
never
right?
looked the same. Was a first-round talent, tore that Achilles, never looked the same, man. It was so sad. He definitely would have had a promising career. Hopefully, he still can turn it around wherever he lands. I don't know if he's on the Eagles still.
I'm hoping Micah Parsons drops.
I'm hoping that we trade down and get him. Because I don't.
It's going to be a great pickup for whoever gets it.
I don't understand the pressing need all the analysts are making for us to draft our quarterback of the future this very year. I get that these quarterbacks in this draft are very solid, and we probably won't have another quarterback draft class like this in the next few years. I get that, but I don't.
How old is Matt?
Matt turns 36 next season. So, like I said, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Matt probably got 3-4 years left. I get it, but I'm just like, at 4, like there's other needs on the other side of the ball. No, there's a quarterback you can get next year.
Yeah, I draft a quarterback when I'm in the teens. Like if you're in the top 5, you need to draft a player that's going to literally get you, especially a team that's been to the Super Bowl, who hasn't been a bad team. You had a bad year. You're not a bad team.
Exactly.
So Atlanta being in the top 5 is literally one player away from them being back in the Super Bowl. So you get that one player that literally changes the game immediately. You don't get a quarterback
and that's a defender.
Still have Matt Ryan for 4 years, damn near. And he's not showing you any decline. He's still top 5 in every category.
And that's why I don't get about these crazy Falcons fans. They are so adamant in thinking Matt Ryan's a problem. And I just keep asking myself, do y'all not watch football? Are y'all blaming the quarterback because he can't make some blitz pickups? Like, that's the one flaw I will give Matt Ryan. It's all his fault. Matt Ryan cannot read a blitz pickup to save his fucking life. I don't know why that is, bro, but it was shown in the Super Bowl when he got sacked and lost the ball to Dante Hightower. It's been shown every year since. He cannot read the blitz pickup. I just don't get that. So that's the knock.
It's one, I don't give it complete. I don't think he's had the right play call.
Yeah, like Dirk Cutter is not good.
Yeah, y'all ran shallow cross at least twice a drive, or twice per every 4 downs. Like it's like damn near, it was so simplified. It was nothing special about your playbook.
And that's why Dirk Cutter got fired from Tampa Bay, because he did the same thing to Jameis. Like he was part of that class that drafted Jameis and led the Bucs down the path they were on before this year. So, bro, like if we had Dirk Cutter before our Super Bowl run, he gets hired by Tampa Bay, and then he gets fired by them. Why the fuck did we bring him back? That's stupid to me. He didn't do Matt Ryan no good before he left, and then you bring him back. What?
That's what you say about Greg Roman. You sabotaged Cap. Then you draft a quarterback who's literally a splitting image of Cap. And like we're going down the same path we went with Cap. But no one sees that.
Yeah, nobody does talk about that.
Lamar Jackson had a breakout year. He had a nice second year, but he just can't get past that wall. Same thing with Cap. Cap had a breakout year. He had a nice second year, got to the Super Bowl, and could not break that wall, and it started declining little by little after that.
You know, I said this in the chat to both of y'all. I was really snapping on Twitter and people are probably gonna listen to this and think the same thing, or they're gonna, what you mean? Listen, bro. I get people want to compare Lamar and Patrick Mahomes for both me and black quarterbacks who run a lot. I get that entirely. I'm not arguing that. But I'm not going to argue and not going to allow slander of Patrick Mahomes for the fact that, but when this happened to Lamar, people want to criticize him. Bro, Lamar has 2 great offensive tackles, and he had Marshall Yanda before he retired last year. Marshall Yanda retired, and the Ravens O-line got exposed. That ain't Lamar's fault. I'm not going to put that against him. Patrick Mahomes lost both his starting OTs and a guard who came back, and he was running for his damn life looking like Lamar Jackson. Lamar's used to it because that's his offense.
Couldn't fully run because that turf toe.
Yeah, like Lamar does this on a consistent. This is what Lamar does. This ain't what Mahomes do. Mahomes' offense is deep shot play passing all game long. Lamar's game is RPO heavy, short passes to get down the field. And if he got to throw deep every now and then, he will. Like the Ravens, the offense is completely different than the Chiefs' offense. I don't get why people try to. I hate that people try to compare criticism of other players to somebody else. Like there's no. It doesn't make sense that you try to complain about Christian McCaffrey is not a powerful runner, but Derrick Henry is one. That's two different styles of play. Like that doesn't make sense.
And so bro, he's 6'8". And nigga is LeBron in pads. So you can't compare that to a 5'11" Christian McCaffrey.
I don't that
comparison is not even no.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense
at all. Comparisons should never. They compare. It's retarded, but it's like they look at what one's accomplished and what's another accomplished, and they automatically compare. And neither one of them could be in the same realm of each other, but they compare them because of what they have accomplished. So it's like, for me, LeBron and Jordan should have never been the comparison. LeBron never played like Jordan. His style wasn't built. He came in as a point guard. So it's like his comparison should have been Magic.
Mm-hmm.
He should have never been Jordan. But with what LeBron was doing at earliest of ages, he was doing it, and the accolades he was getting, like, you just surpassed Kobe, go straight to Jordan, because Kobe still had 5 rings. LeBron got 4. So he should still be compared to Kobe until he surpasses Kobe. So it's like, it's just, I guess people do tend to put a lot of their bias in, like for me, with the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady thing. Like, it's the comparison because those were the 2 best quarterbacks
of their time, and they played together. So that's a reasonable argument. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Jordan and Bird, that's a reasonable argument because they played at the same time. Even though Larry Bird retired and was, a 5-year elder statesman to him, they still played in the same era. So that it's easier to compare that. While I'm not mad about the comparison, I mean, you're going to compare Lamar and Mahomes for forever. They're only a year apart in drafts. But to compare the criticism Lamar gets based on what Lamar has not shown, I think it's just beyond dumb to me, personally.
I think Patrick Mahomes' comparison shouldn't even be Tom Brady at this point. But his ultimate comparison should be Russ. Russ and Patrick Mahomes should be the ones compared in what they've accomplished, what they're doing, and their futures. Granted, the age difference, they're still kind of in the same era, but to see how fast Russell Wilson got to the point where he's at to where Patrick Mahomes got to where he's at, that should be a comparison. Lamar shouldn't be. I don't even want to say Lamar should be compared to Kyler.
There's not really a good Lamar comparison in the league right now.
I mean,
unfortunately, you would look at Vic.
That's what I'm about to say. The only comparison you can make for Lamar is like a Randall Cunningham, Vic type of player. Is getting better throwing on the run. He can make the throws on the run he's supposed to make. But it's like, okay, Lamar is not dead. This is what my issue is really. Patrick Mahomes is deadly accurate no matter what he does. Like, no matter what
even he does. Falling.
He just made the greatest incomplete pass in NFL history. Twice.
In the face.
Number 1 and 2. You ask me. Number 1 and 2. Shaq Barrett got him the first quarter, spinning him to the ground for a sack. He launches this bitch down the sideline, and Tyreek gets hit in the face and drops a touchdown. The second time, he's diving away from a sack. He got hit with the legs and launches a sidearm pass to Darrell Williams in the end zone that he drops on fourth
Look
down.
at in the third one, the one that he was rolling out left and was about to get sacked, and he throws it and it drops, teardrops right in the back corner of the end zone. Just missed, bro.
Just missed Byron Pringle, bro. Byron Pringle almost caught that shit, bro. Like
There's no way under duress you can make an accurate pass like that.
Yeah, that shit was raw.
I have never seen a quarterback do that in my life.
That's why I say I compare him to Russ, because both of them, as great of teams that on paper it looks, their offensive lines are terrible. So it's like they have to be the magicians. The things you see Russ do out of the pocket, the way he scrambles, which I don't think he does enough last year. But when he scrambles, the way he makes plays on the run, the way Patrick Mahomes makes plays on the run, they should be the only two comparisons. I try to dismiss it so much about the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, because they're two young black quarterbacks who've reached success at a very early age in their careers. So they want to compare them automatically. No, like their style of plays are different, their team base is different, the personnel is different, the mindset is different. Like you can't compare them.
Yeah, man. I'm with you on that 10 times out of 10, man. I just think that these comparisons that keep happening, people have to stop trying to compare and let players be themselves. Like, let that player be that player first. Compare when their careers is over, dog, and we can do all that extra shit later. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, comparison breeds debate, and media. That's their money maker.
That's what they do.
Debate. So they got to compare something. Now you're gonna hear the TJ Watt, JJ Watt comparisons. Now you're gonna hear, it's so many to choose from. Hollywood Brown versus Antonio Brown. Like there's always gonna be a comparison because it breeds a debate and controversy sells.
Speaking on the TJ Watt, JJ Watt thing, where does JJ Watt go? Where does he go?
Depends on what he's looking for.
I know it depends on what he's looking for. Do he want to win or do he want to check?
I mean, he's in the last year of his contract, so if he does get traded, it's really a 1-year rental, and then you see what you do after that. I don't remember if I heard it on. I want to say I heard it on Twitter, or I was listening to the First Things First. Somebody mentioned him to the Chargers, and it intrigued me a little bit because Melvin Ingram is probably going to get cut with the contract that he got last year, and he didn't perform. So Joey Bosa and JJ Watt together, and then if that Chargers defense can get healthy on the back end, like Derwin James can stay healthy, Chris Harris Jr. can get healthy, Casey Hayward can stay healthy. I don't know if I would love it or hate it, but that shit would sound crazy. Mahomes already running for his life. Drew Lock don't got no offensive line, and then Derek Carr don't move like he's in a car. So it's like, yo, JJ Watt and Joey Bosa would tear that shit up.
There's no way was to happen. There's no way Kansas City doesn't address that line, though, man. There's no way.
Yeah, they gotta address that 31 in the draft. They have to. They don't have a choice.
Absolutely. But the Chargers.
I mean, just the obvious thing people are already saying is, get him where TJ is, get him to Pittsburgh, help Pittsburgh get the steel curtain back. But does Pittsburgh even have the money, the cap space? Like, Big Ben wants to restructure that contract right now, and he hasn't yet. But do you even send him to Pittsburgh?
I like the Rams for him.
Oh God.
I like the Rams for him.
What? Okay,
if he's on a win now thing, like I want to win a championship this year.
But see, he's not going to be cut though. He's going to be traded, so it's kind of hard. Right. What do the Rams have to give up? That's my debate for you. The Rams don't have. I don't even think they have a second round or a third rounder to. I think the Texans GM is about to be stinky. Let me just say that. Let me clarify my statement before I say it. So if you got JJ Watt, future Hall of Famer, still producing when healthy, you looking for at least a third round pick for that contract, at least. And you don't have it because you sent it to the Lions. So What is JJ Watt worth? First off,
He's not worth a first.
hell no,
No.
definitely not with the first.
No.
But it begs that question: what is he worth? And do the Rams even have the cap space to take that deal on themselves? They trade for proven talent. JJ Watt is 33 years old.
The problem is you got to worry about him staying on the field if you get him.
That's so you got to make a low risk, high reward kind of trade there.
Yeah, that's why you got to look at because what happens is if you trade for JJ Watt, you cannot disrupt the defense you already have. You got to add to that defense. So if he does not make the field, it doesn't change.
I agree with that. I just wonder, do the Rams have the capital to get?
I think they can. I think they can. If they decided, okay, we're taking this year with Matthew Stafford and we're going to the Super Bowl, they can get rid of all their picks this year. If they can financially get JJ Watt on that squad, I think they trade, at least try to trade and get one decent receiver to go along with Cooper Kupp. And I think they can make the Super Bowl. In the NFC, I don't say win it. I think they can make it. If they can land JJ Watt and still keep Michael Brockers and still keep Aaron Donald and still keep that defense the way it is, I can't see why they won't get carried. I mean, Jared Goff got carried with a number one defense with half the talent they have.
I think as far as the receivers for the Rams go, the Rams are another team that needs to address O-line. Andrew Whitworth is 38 years old and might be retiring. I don't think he comes back. So I'm not going to say that they're going to trade for offensive lineman or nothing like that, but they definitely need to address the position before they do anything else. And I agree with you. I think that they can make the trade happen if the capital is right and the Texans take whatever bait they get, but I don't know how willing they are to take the bait is the problem.
The reason why, I mean, the offensive line, yeah, it can be addressed, but then you look at Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is a faster thrower out of the pocket. So the same pressure Jared Goff was getting, I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to receive the same pressure because he gets the ball out a lot faster. So
I can see that.
If you not necessarily simplify the playbook, but if you keep all your plays within 10 short routes, quick routes, and you just chop the field down, you give that defense, which is going to be number one automatically on paper. If you give that defense enough time to rest and you just chopping that ball up, short, intermediate routes, getting threes, maybe get a touchdown, and let that defense do what it does, I don't see why they can't make the Super Bowl. Just on that theory alone.
I mean, they do have solid enough wide receivers. Cooper Kupp is obviously the number one over there. Robert Woods is still there. Van Jefferson was a rookie. He was solid and okay. And then you have Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee as tight end 1 and tight end 2. Cam Akers is your running back. So I think the offense will be fine if they just can draft even a young offensive lineman. I think that they'll be fine. But them getting Aaron Donald to be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not Aaron Donald. I'm sorry. JJ Watt. I apologize.
JJ Watt, yeah, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers. Man, listen.
They'd have to let somebody go.
The field, like I say.
They'd have to get somebody up, though. Like, somebody'd have to go off that line already. And I would think Brockers only because Leonard Floyd had a solid year over there. And I think the Rams will bring him back if his contract wasn't already extended. So
it would probably be one of them two. One of them two will go in that trade for JJ.
Yeah,
absolutely. I can't see all of them staying.
It'll be interesting to say the least. How are we feeling about the All-Star game for the NBA?
I mean,
I don't have anything bad. I mean, I'm trying to tell Lefty to pull up. It's in Atlanta. You might as well.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, at least go.
What service? What does it serve? Like, what's the
I
purpose?
mean, I
At
like the
least
All
this
Star
year.
game last year. I like the
Money.
new format.
Money.
I like the new.
So the revenue from the All-Star game is what would be the purpose, because obviously, just like the NFL, you lost money in the salary cap, and you're losing. You're not having as much income as you are expenses. So it's just money. It's money.
Yeah, but it just don't. It
I
don't
wouldn't
serve
even.
a
I don't think
purpose
I would
for
have. I
us.
don't know. It's gonna be kind of weird with no
It don't.
crowd.
Yeah, it don't serve a purpose to the fans because even last
Yeah.
year's All Star game happened before the pandemic. Really, like shut everything down. So the dunk contest is literally just practice. That's what it's gonna seem like just the layup line. People just doing that. Like unless they do something in a sense where it's 1v1 competitions on various things. If they make it a day where so many different things that players are doing to keep you interested, then yeah, okay, I'm lean more to watching it. But if it's the same format, skills competition, 3-point shootout, and dunk, I'm not watching that shit. I don't care for it. There are no fans. There's just no excitement in it.
Yeah, we know it's for the money. De'Aaron Fox, LeBron, Kawhi, a lot of the players have come out and already said what's the point. And you know
Yeah.
that obviously is the point. It's literally just for the money.
All Star game is for fans. With no fans, what's the for?
What's the point? We just gonna be running around guarding each other, just hooping. Exhibition game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do this already trying to win a championship. So what the fuck?
Right. So you might as well just skip it. Y'all might as well.
Shit
Just
gonna look like
well,
the
so De'Aaron Fox made note of that because a reporter asked him that question: would you skip it if you picked? And he said he wouldn't, because if you skip the All-Star game, you would get fined. I think that's trash.
that's terrible.
Yeah, like me protecting my health and not trying to get COVID gets me a fine. Yo, kiss my ass.
Right. That's crazy.
Shit
Kiss
gonna
my
look
ass.
like the pro-am loading screen. Motherfuckers
Yeah.
just running around dunking and shooting. That's all you're gonna see. It's no fun.
I don't.
Um,
It ain't gonna feel like All-Star Weekend. You know what I'm saying? That's the piece. It ain't gonna feel like All-Star Weekend. So
it will
that's.
feel like that out here. I tell you that much.
I mean, and we don't have all the details yet, and it's obviously planned for either early, mid-March. So looking at like March 13th, 14th, ish, March 12th to 14th, or
Ain't
5th
gonna be no
to
snow,
7th. So
no snow, and Atlanta open. So All Star Weekend going up.
I mean, Atlanta
But
been open though.
yeah, Atlanta definitely going up that weekend. But as far as the festivities, it's like even the Pro Bowl this year was I didn't even watch it, but the theory of it was terrible.
Nope.
Yeah, that shit was stupid as fuck. Like, just that was dumb. Y'all did a Pro Bowl on Madden with the players. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, I would have preferred that they still did like the competitions that they were doing like on the Saturdays. Like even when they ran the little flag game with the celebrities, when they did the skills challenge with the quarterbacks and those things you could have still done and still been able to social distance from everybody and still put up a decent view. But
Even dodgeball is, you could have did social distancing. You just throwing fucking dodgeballs at each other. Like, what?
this just
Right.
shows how creative these people are. They're really monotone with the things that they know, and this is the things that we're gonna do. If we can't do it this way, then find the subsequent that's exactly how we do it. They don't like
Yeah.
to be creative. There was many ways of making things more creative to keep viewers, even though you don't have physical fans, you have people in the seats watching this. I think if the All-Star game don't switch it up and have something creative getting going, nobody's gonna care for it.
That shit there was just poop stain.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I didn't care.
Yeah, I just saw it on Instagram because I saw the clip happen. Like, they ran 4 verticals, like 4 straight plays, and just went to the tight end every time, and nobody ever covered it. Like,
What they did
y'all basically played
peer
Madden
to
on rookie. Like, okay.
they did peer to peer or like CPU versus CPU and just watch the
So
game.
it was Deshaun Watson, I don't know who else, and Snoop Dogg was their captain, versus Jamal Adams, Marshawn Lynch, who was their captain. I want to say it was Russell Wilson. I'm probably wrong as far as the quarterback. It wasn't Russ, I don't think. But I know it was Jamal Adams. I think it was Jamal Adams, Kyler Murray, and somebody else. So they had like 3 players from each spot, and they let the players play each other. And the NFC was up like 19-7. Jamal Adams was running just 4 verticals straight, 4 plays, got a touchdown every time. It was just like, okay.
If they were smart, the way they would have capitalized on that is it was Madden 21, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So if they were smart, they would have did the yard. They would have took out the Pro Bowlers from the league. They'd have divided it up into teams, and they'd have ran a little mini yard tournament and had every player play as themselves. That would have probably had somebody to, okay, I might watch this. Let's see how this turned out. Let's see if Jamal Adams plays the same way he looks on the field. Like, those are things that make it interesting. I'm not watching. I do that now with Madden. Like, I just put the game on and I'm out here cleaning and just watching the CPU play. Like, that don't serve no purpose for nobody. Like, that just doesn't show how creative you can be. Like, the pandemic should have shown you, like, no matter how successful or how stagnant you may feel you are, there's always a way to make money, even when you're losing money. It's just being creative in something that you're doing and then just driving the focus into it. And it just shows like we just rather lose money and charge out later than let's be creative and try to get this money back.
I do think the NFL is one of the most non-creative leagues out there.
Yeah, they are, literally.
Because we mentioned it before when we talked about like the Rooney Rule. Like you had to create a rule for people of color to get fairness, but
let's protect the shield.
But you just had a team with every single coordinator position filled with not only black men but women. Bruce Arians just won a championship in the NFL with 2 full-time assistant coaches that were women and 3 men that were black. So shout out to Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, Keith Armstrong, man. That bro, black excellence, bro. We just talked about Tony Dungy making excellence, being the first black head coach, and there was a black head coach. This is a black head coach in that Super Bowl, ironically, because Lovie Smith was the head coach of the Bears at the time.
Yeah.
So either which way, you were making history in that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes to show, like, you don't need a rule. You just need to be fair. That's it.
I really thought we was going to lose that Super Bowl.
Man, look, the only thing I remember about that Super Bowl, watching it, I called Devin Hester's kick return. I bragged on it.
The first play of the day, man.
I bragged on it. I said, look, y'all going to see this man anytime Hester return a kick in this game. I don't know if it's going to be the first one, but he going to do it. And it was the first one. I was like, you know what? I just told y'all, bro.
Whoever bet on that, man, that man made some money.
Bruh. I'm just thinking to myself, are the Colts going to kick it to him? And they did this shit. I'm like, bro, why? That was my first thought. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you kicking it to Hester? You're not going to gain anything of kicking it to Hester.
I forgot who our kickoff man was at the time. Because it wasn't Vinatieri.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know either.
It had to be our punter. No, it wasn't McAfee.
Y'all didn't have McAfee back then, did y'all?
Yeah, no. We didn't get McAfee to it. No, I think we did have McAfee back then. Because McAfee paid 17 years or something like that.
Damn. Maybe it might have been him. I don't know. Maybe if we watched that bowl back, we'd figure out who it was.
Yeah.
At some point, we figure it out, right?
Anxiety. That whole day.
Hey, y'all won, bro.
Should have had two. Yeah,
but Peyton just did not look for Tracy Porter. He didn't care. He didn't think about looking at that nigga neither. He didn't think to look.
God.
He didn't think about it. He just said, fuck it. He said he there somewhere. Oop. All right, bro.
Cried because the stadium erupted after that. I said, oh yeah, it's over. You can't bounce back from that. That era and that time frame of football, when you had a stadium like raw and erupt like that, you can't come back from it.
Nah, you can't, man. You're
That
definitely right
ground
about
is rocking right now. There's nothing we can do to get back in that game.
You know, I think that was one of the better Super Bowls in recent history too. Saints Colts. That was one of the better Super Bowls.
Yeah, Patriots, Seahawks.
Saw offense, saw defense. Definitely was a good mix in general, and it definitely did justice to the Super Bowl.
I like Pat Seahawks as well. That was one of the better.
Yeah, that came
Super
down to the
Bowls.
end. That was definitely one of the better ones too.
That catch by was it Curse? No, it wasn't Curse.
Yeah, it was Curse. The one
It
he was
was
on his
Curse?
back. Jermaine Curse was
Oh,
on his
right.
back, bro, and he caught,
Man.
man.
Had people on the edge of their seat.
All he got to do is get up and run, bro, and into the end zone. And
the Eagles game was too.
Yeah,
even outside of the Philly
good.
special. Outside of the Philly special, it was back and forth. It was intense.
Foles was putting some heat on them things, man. That time's crazy.
That was a story.
Yeah, Foles.
I do wish Carson Wentz would have been there for that. I really do.
He deserved to.
Man, whatever.
He definitely, that was his MVP year until he got hurt, man. He definitely deserved that shit. He deserved that shit, no question. But
praying on my man's downfall. Left just wanted to be in Indianapolis.
Hey, you know what's crazy?
I didn't even say nothing bad about bro. I didn't say nothing bad about him. Never did.
I'm just on edge.
Hey, you know, speaking of you being on edge, you know, I was reading Bleacher Report earlier today, and they were looking at like trade targets and where they may land. Bruh, they said Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz together to the Colts for that first round pick. And I have not been more ready for Chris Ballard to make a trade in my life. I'm not going to lie to you. I looked at that shit and I was just looking at my phone like, make this trade right now for that one first? Bruh, okay. I'll take that contract if you give me Zach Ertz too. I would take that.
Yeah.
Nah, ain't a question, bro. I'm with that. I'm with the smoke.
As a combo for the 21st pick,
even if you had to add like a third or a fifth, all right, bro, what? You just gave me a starting quarterback and a tight end. Why am I saying no?
You're giving me a franchise quarterback and a tight end that still got at least about 4 years left on him.
And the quarterback got about 7 in him. Yeah, why am I saying no?
Yeah. I just wasn't doing multiple first round picks like for Carson. I like Carson, but let's be real.
Yeah, I think once the Eagles realize like you can package them together, you'll be straight. I think that's the play. Because you just there's no point in you not getting the first round pick. Get the first round pick, however you got to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we're gonna trade them, we might as well get them what we can. We might as well trade Ertz too. Their reign is over.
Yeah, that joint over with. So
and we will re-sign them.
Yeah, you know, speaking of y'all and re-signing people though, Ty,
yeah.
Ty has officially stated he's focused on free agency because the Colts got to show him the money. Basically, like it got to be two-sided. Like I want to come back, but show me the money. And I was just like, oh,
show me the money. What?
I was like, okay, Ty not playing with these niggas. That's exactly what my thought process was, bro. I was like, yo, he's not playing with these niggas.
Because truth be told, he knows he's gonna make his most money here.
Yeah, it's his first time being a free agent, bro. He know. He would smoke.
He gonna make his most money here because I don't see a place where he would go where he would still be the number one option that he is now.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they're gonna pay you on a secondary receiver contract. They're not gonna give you that number one. You might get maybe.
I can see 12 million a year. I can see 12 million a year.
He can get 13 from us. He can. Absolutely. I would give him 13 a year. But to think he's gonna get that somewhere else, I don't think so.
Nah, not at all, man. Not at all.
He might sniff 10 somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, I love Ty, but Ty can't stay on the field. at least in recent years. He can't stay on the field. And although he poses a double threat, well, he is a double threat, but the attraction of the double team was mainly because we didn't have anyone else really to throw it to but Ty. But now that we have receivers now, he doesn't get double teamed as much. So it's like, yeah, you were that nigga before, but now it's like, okay, you got to be reasonable with the money.
You said you give him
Like this
30.
ain't. I would give him 13 as a Colt. I would give him 13, but any other team's going to look at it differently than we would.
Because he would be complimenting whatever else they have, not being the number one option.
Yeah.
More to win.
So he would definitely not get 13, or if he's thinking he wants 15, 16 somewhere else, like you're going to get less than what you get with us. So you might as well. I'm not saying you might as well take the money, but I think they will pay him well, and I think he'll stay. Colt. I don't see him playing anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
He could come to Philly.
It'll be dope to see what happens with Ty, man. It'll be dope to see what happens in general.
I mean, Ty want to ring. Ty want to ring. I highly doubt that. I mean, we're in the position that the Colts are now. We're literally a quarterback away from contending for a Super Bowl. And
right.
Philly's in a rebuild of a rebuild. Like, y'all got to build the house back up again before you start bringing people in. So I don't know if you want to burn a couple of years trying to let y'all figure that out.
Yeah, we're in a bad position right now.
Yeah, like that shit show last year is going to make it hard for y'all to bring guys in. I hope y'all do, and I hope y'all get the right people y'all need, but it's going to be hard.
I just hope we get it right in the draft, man. That's what it's going. We got to build off that. We get it right in the draft. I don't even think we're going to trade Wentz. We keep pump faking. I don't even think we're going to trade him.
Yeah, because the coming days was definitely 2-3 days ago, and here we are.
Come on now. Like, I think the media just hyping. I don't even think we even think about it. We probably think about it, but I don't even think we really like considering any deals right now heavily.
They got an official date that they have to trade him by, or else y'all can keep him, which is when you get his roster bonus. I think that's the first week of March.
Yeah, if he's not gone by March, not gone by March 5th, yep.
So I literally have till the end of this month to make a deal, or else y'all gonna keep him.
And what teams are going to do is teams are going to wait till the end of the month, and they're going to start lowballing the deals because they know we got to get rid of them.
I mean, Chicago highballing, and they still ain't agreeing with Chicago shit.
That would be ironic if Wentz go to Chicago and turn that team around because Nick Foles was there and they underperformed.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'll take Nick Foles. Nick Foles is low risk, high reward.
Yeah, especially in the Eagles.
He's definitely low risk.
We could take him. I mean, we wouldn't have to give up the first round for him. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. March 5th is when everything starts really hitting the fan.
What you think about that bowl, Love?
The Super Bowl. I mean, it was a good game for the most part.
Minus the refs in the first half, you know.
Yeah, the officiating was a little but then
I feel like
I don't want to start that narrative.
Tried too hard to call a fair game that they made it look so biased.
But you called such a loose game.
I mean, for me,
2 weeks before.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no consistency amongst the NFL's reffing quarters, and that's where a big issue is for everybody. But I just think that the one call that ruined it for me, and it's only one call that really made it seem like, wow, what the fuck is this? That loose play action on Mike Evans was by far the phantom pass interference call. Even the two that were uncatchable, all right, yeah, they shouldn't have called it, but you know.
You talking about the one he tripped? The
one he tripped was uncatchable, even if he didn't trip. The one after when they attacked Honey Badger and Honey Badger got in his way in the end zone, it was thrown out of bounds and no way he was going to catch that. But they gave it to him. I think that was kind of corny because it was out of bounds. It wasn't in bounds. Like I think that one was corny.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, so I think that one was corny. But I mean, other than that, though, man, like the ball was enjoyable. It just I don't like that the refs had a very big hand in the beginning of it. If they didn't have as big as hand in the beginning and it would have went a little bit more clear, then cool, I would have been okay. But I mean, other than that,
See,
that
want to
Bucks
watch
defense did his job, man.
Yeah, they showed up. I want to watch the game again because I mean, I seen bits and pieces moving back and forth, but noticing that when Patrick Mahomes in the third quarter, and I started noticing that every time he would scramble, when he got back in the huddle, he was limping.
That
You know
turf
what I
toe was
mean?
bothering him.
Now we know that he went and got surgery on it. But I'm trying to see
Tough competitor.
I want to see if during the game like he got either stepped on or something. Like I want to see what happened to him because in the beginning he didn't look like it bothered him, but the second half is when you started noticing it more, and especially in the fourth quarter when he was running for dear life every time. Like you would notice him limping back into the huddle, and even when he would call a play and he would call hype, his cadence seemed like he was like tense and he was in pain. I wonder if did that make a difference in the game? Like, was it the whole game it was like that, or just like starting the second half and started getting worse?
Second half it got worse because in the first half, he looked okay. He looked like he was perfectly fine. Just and you know what? I'm gonna gripe right here. I don't understand why Eric Bieniemy is getting any recognition at all because he did not change that offense for shit after that at all, bro. And I don't get it. Like, probably a great mind in football, cool, bro. You can be a great mind all you want. But you see your man getting out here torched, bro. Like, change the offense. You ain't changed the offense one bit. Kept going deep to Tyreek. Middle was wide open all game long, and you did not abuse that fact. You didn't use Sammy Watkins. He was coming off injury. You didn't use Mecole Hardman over the middle. Like, it was so much they could have did. And
I wanna do some research on what an offensive coordinator really does, especially when it's the head coach that quote unquote calls the plays.
Right, nobody knows.
they just
I want to
draw.
see.
They draw up play calls mainly.
I guess they coordinated the offense. That would make sense.
As far as what subs in, subs out, when to run, when to pass. Like, is that on Andy Reid or is that on the enemy?
Both.
I think it depends. I think it's case by case. Depends on the coach, head coach.
I would say it's on both in that specific game because the enemy could have told Andy, yo, our normal offense ain't working. Let's change it up. Let's do this. Let's do that. I don't even think that combo happened. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that combo not even happening would piss me off. Like, bro, had a combo. Just had a conversation. Like, that's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think their biggest thing was that they couldn't run the ball. They could not run the ball.
Bucks was first in rush defense.
CEH had gotten one or two breaks, but that was it. They could not get that ball. And then looking at that, their biggest thing is selling the play action to Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Up the gut. So when the fact that he can't do that, it's like that's fine that they were happy. Carl Davis played a hell of a job. A hell of a job.
Bro, every DB on that Bucks team did a hell of a job, bro.
Job.
I ain't gonna lie, I love that Antoine Winfield taunted Tyreek.
Oh yeah,
worth all fit.
Well,
I was like, bro, he made a great point too, bro. This man backflipped in my face, bro.
And pieced me out. He pieced me out, so I gave it right back. Not mad at that at all.
Yeah, I ain't mad at dude, man.
If you can dish it, you better be able to take it. It is what it is. And I respect Tyreek Hill getting up, owning it, and walking to his sideline. Because another person will take that into a situation and it'll be another Wims and Gardner fight all over again for no reason. He owned it. He was the one that taunt all the time. You got taunted back. You owned it. You went back to your sideline. Nobody else got mad about it. It's like, listen, that's what it is. That's football. When you did it, you got it back at you. So, I ain't mad at it. Now, I want to know what Honey Badger said to Tom Brady.
We'll never know.
Bro, I just think out of fairness though, going forward, bro. And it's not a shot at Tom Brady. It's a shot at quarterbacks and offensive players in general. These offensive players can't go to the defensive guys and start the shit, and the rest only see the defense react. I can't stand that. That's horrible, bro. The same way that Bucks O-line pushed Chris Jones and Chris Jones reacted when they only saw Chris Jones. Like, come on, bro. The dude literally looked at him and said, "Hey, ref, he just punched me, bro. You pushed him." Like, come on, bro. How soft you got to be to do shit like that? That's annoying shit.
That's
it's ticky tack.
And that's in any sport. They always tally the retaliator. You will always be the one that gets it.
That shit is ticky tack.
That's all. Every sport I've played. You swing on me. If I swing back, I'm the one in trouble. It's always a retaliator that gets caught. Always, never fails. That's why everybody flops. That's why flopping happens.
Hey, bro, that's why that dude who played for the Rockets last night flopped last night, acting like he got hit by Miles Bridges, bro. What?
Yeah, I was weak when they said, "Hey, James Harden taught them well." I was crying, bro.
Bro, that remind me to go look at my FanDuel stuff now before 7 o'clock hitting and somebody else is out like Chris Paul was yesterday, and that shit pissed me all the way off. Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
Chris Paul not playing hurt. They saying Jaylen Brown might not play. I'm about to remove his ass. Damn. Jaylen Brown might not play.
At the same time, like when I do FanDuel, I'll do like a fantasy basketball league. I'll join a random one.
Oh, Jaylen Brown didn't play the other night versus Phoenix. Oh yeah, get him up my lineup. Tobias Harris will fill it for me. Be good.
And I do that just so I can see who may start, who's not starting, who's might be coming on the bench, because they give you a bunch of breakdowns with each player. So I'll look at each game and I'll look at the players on that fantasy thing, and then I'll do my FanDuel like that.
Man, Chris Paul was questionable, and that man sat out, man. That was tight, dog. I share my feelings.
Just like when I knew KD wasn't starting, I was like, nah, I'm not picking him.
Bro, they kicked this man out of the game, dog. That shit was whack. That whole shit was horrible.
He should be back though, right?
I think after tomorrow he can come back. I'm not certain though. I'm not positive on that. I think it's the best
tomorrow. The best time to bet on games, because especially when stars go out, like you save so much money.
Yeah, the dude Bazemore went crazy. The Baisley went crazy for the OKC Thunder last night. I was like, damn, why didn't pick him? Shit, he went nuts.
When Ben was out, when all those guys was out in that Philly game, and Tyrone Maxey went off, got that man for $600.
Jeez.
Now he's probably worth at least 13, 14 grand. If I'm not mistaken, last time I checked.
I mean, we'll see what happens though, there. I know G got stuff to do and greener patches to move on to right now. We got any closing comments for this week?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, me neither, honestly. I don't have nothing important in.
About to play this
Nah, nothing this week. I wanted to have something deep, but I didn't have time to come up with nothing.
Definitely want to do some more research on that PSP thing. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that PSP too. So the rumor, apparently, people new PSP about to come out. I don't know. Look, they gotta fix the consoles before anything else come out. That's my close statement.
Fix these consoles.
Fix the consoles in 2K. Nobody gives a fuck about your dumbass soundtrack. Patch the fucking game. How about that? Patch your damn game. That's what we can talk. Like, you know what?
Hey, I want
these motherfuckers keep buying it.
Nobody made any green lanterns today, or white.
I believe it when I see it. You got the
and there were less contact dunks. So I will say that.
As long as they keep buying it, they'll be all right for now. Y'all be all right. We'll see you a batch later. That's how they feel. That PSP is supposed to combat against the Switch. Like,
I mean, they kind of already had that though, just the same way Xbox got the play wherever shit. I mean, like I said, they got to fix the console instead of focusing on shit like that, man. It's too much other shit you got to focus on. That's just what I think.
Still sold out, so fuck it.
I mean, they put stuff. They put some out earlier today. The Xbox was still there till like 6 o'clock. Ironically,
yeah, they still on like that. Motherfuckers still buying it. All those bugs and glitches. Don't worry about it. Next time around, we'll fix all that stuff. They still buying the OG, so hey, why not?
Yeah, they don't care. They don't give a hot damn.
Nope.
At all, man. But yeah, we'll sign off for this week. We're gonna sign off for this week. I guess the positive note we can end on, man. Live your life for yourself. Don't live it for others, because when you live for others, you tend to get depressed a little bit faster. Like very, very fast. So live life for yourself. Fuck with social media thing. Live for you. Please. Pretty please. I don't got no cherries, so I know I'm corny.
I can go for that.
Look, man, we see y'all next week, episode 13. Peace and hair, guys.
I ain't got no cherry.